Welcome to the Interdisciplinary Center for Staff Development at the University of Silesia in Poland. We want you to listen to the interview with Professor Matias Pulópulos on the topic of the competence management at the university. The interview will be conducted by Professor Olaf Flak and myself, Barbara Korzusznik.
Our guest today is Professor Matias Pulópulos, who is a neuroscientist working in the field of affective and cognitive neuroscience. He is currently a senior research fellow at the Department of Experimental Clinical and Health Psychology at Ghent University. His research aims to understand the effects of stress on health and cognition and the neurocognitive mechanisms of stress regulation and stress-related disorders in young and older people. He has been awarded several competitive national and international grants and projects. He has carried out research stayed at Maastricht University and Harvard University. Professor Matias, welcome to our interview. And I would like to ask you some introductional questions. The first is, what are you currently involved in at the university? What kind of projects are you conducting now?
Okay, well, hello everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this series of interviews. To your answering your question, what I'm currently involved in, which kind of projects I have, I'm involved in different kind of research in both young and older people. In young people, I'm now running a huge project here in Belgium, in which we are investigating the development of stress resilience in families. We try to understand how the ability to cope with the stressful situations can be shared between parents and children. That's in young people. In older people, I'm also coordinating a team that it's part of a bigger project in which we want to investigate what factors are related with the development of health problems in older people. Here in Ghent, we are aiming at evaluating 20,000 people in the city of Ghent for the next 20 years. And the idea is to try to find what are the factors, the exposome, what are the external factors that might predict the development of psychological and physical health problems. And this is a big collaboration with people from the Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Pharmacy, and we are part of, myself and some of our team members are a part of the team group focused on the psychological and cognitive predictors of resilience and health problems. So these are the two biggest projects that I'm now running. And I also have a few side projects focused on the neurocognitive mechanism of stress regulation. So that's in general what I can say.
As I understand, the second project is very, very long term, 20 years, you said.
20 years, yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. There is a lot of parties involved in the project, like the city of Ghent, even the Flemish, the government from the Flemish community. It's the biggest community in Belgium, and it's the idea of this project is not only to try to understand what are the factors that help or that contribute in the development of health problems, but also to try to prevent in those people what are and to try to tackle those factors earlier in the time, so before they develop the disease. So it's a huge project, yes.
Mm-hmm. And what type of scientific projects do you think are the most important in your career? These ones which are conducting now, or maybe some in the previous projects or in the past?
Oh, actually, the one I'm conducting now, I think they are more important in my career because they will have, or I expect, we all expect that they will have a bigger impact, direct impact into the society. Before my research was more fundamental. It was more to understand the neurological basis of stress regulation. I mean, which areas in the brain are related with the stress, or what areas in the brain are affected by stress. And those studies were more fundamental and was the basis for other people doing more clinical research. But the research that I'm not doing now, has more impact, will have more impact on the society, and I think that's more important for me, at least. I think for the development as a researcher, I think that's probably the most important kind of studies. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It sounds very impressive. Matthias, we would like you to share with us some ideas on research work. And my first question is, what, according to your opinion, to your experience, what are determinants of the researcher scientific success?
What are determinants of the scientific success? Yeah, that's a very nice, very good question. And in my opinion, I think that that it's being able to do research that help the field to move on, to move forward, and to help the research that you are conducting should be oriented toward improving what we know and improving at the end. As a psychologist, at the end it should have an impact on the society or the people. So I wouldn't say that successful research is only the person who has more publications. I will not say that that's the most important thing. I would more, for me, it's more important the kind of research that they do, and that they are focused on quality of the research. That the quality, that they are always focused on doing high quality research. Yeah, high quality research that helps the field to move on. Yeah, that I would say that's the most important thing.
Yes, but if we have 100% line, for example, how much will you give to this crucial factor, and how much will be on the side of the researcher himself or herself? Traits, characteristics, or other factors.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I think that the personality, the characteristic of the researcher are important. I think we all need to be quite need to always aim to the highest quality possible, and that to try to always focus on doing what can really matter for your field. So it's I think I would say it's one of the most important things, to try to always focus on high quality.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Matthias, What do you think about participating in research networks? What are the advantages of participating in research network, for example, in your country? What is the contribution?
Well, I think it's a key factor for even for the research scientific success. Connecting this with the previous question, the network with creating network with your peers is critical for the development of your research. First, because you cannot know everything, you cannot be able to do all kind of research, and you have to make these collaborations to try to answer new questions in your field and to create new findings or new evidence in your field. So especially here in Belgium, they focus quite a lot. They put a lot of pressure on making network, not only on the national level, but also on the international level. They evaluate for Belgium government, it's quite important to create networks between researchers. One, it's important for the economic point of view. If you have a good network of researchers in your country, they can share equipment, they can share ideas, and that implies that you don't have to pay twice for the same work in two different universities when you can do it only once, and the quality will be higher. On the other hand, if you do good, if you have good network at the international level, you can bring ideas and expertise from abroad to your country, and that increase the quality of your research, and also at the economic economic level, it's good for the research community in your country, because you can bring ideas and expertise that was developed outside. So network is it's a critical factor in research, of course. Yeah.
And the next question, Matias, what are your own experiences in strengthening your research competences?
My experience is, I would say, good. I'm happy in how I could develop my competences, and I did so based on collaborations with other people. I could, for example, do several research stays in different countries and different universities, and I'm very happy that I did that, because I could learn a lot from other people. I could learn new techniques, new expertise, and of course, most important for me, different ways of working. It's it's not the same working in your lab always with the same people than going abroad and being able to collaborate with other people and to learn how they do research. And my experience is that making this my experience is that these collaborations are probably one of the most important more easy way to strengthen your research competences.
But what about the special courses, something like this? Do you think they are useful or not so much as this personal?
Yes, of course, yes. That's also important. Yeah. I have done several courses on statistical level.
Oh yes, I went to
also
that. Language, yeah.
Language, also different kind of techniques that you need for your research. So you need to learn new techniques if you want to develop those techniques in your lab, of course.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
And going further into the topic of competences, what kind of competences do you think matter when you think about leading virtual teams in research. Either you are a leader of such a virtual team, or you are a member. What are the competences of leading virtual teams?
Okay, yeah, that's also a good question. Actually, now in this moment, I have to work with people from all Belgium, from 5 different universities in Belgium, and the virtual research teams. It's now quite a focus on how I have to work, and I would say that that good communication, being able to communicate and to transmit what you want from other people is key. You need to because it's not the same when you're working with people every day and you have contact with them and you can transmit everything, and if there is some questions, some doubts, you can always answer those questions. In virtual teams, sometimes it's more difficult to keep track of what everybody is doing and to be sure that everybody is going in the same direction. So I think that the most important competence here is to being able to communicate what you want from other people and to try to transmit good communication with your peers. Yeah, that's probably one of the most important factors. That it's different from working in person, because in person it's easier to do it. That's my experience, I would say. Yeah.
I would like to ask you about a team itself, because what, according to your opinion, happens in a team, and what are conditions in a team that this team is successful in obtaining money, because money are crucial also for our projects. So what are the conditions which happen in a team obtaining good money to cover the projects?
I would say, in my experience, it's 2 factors what I think are the most important. The first one is not being afraid of sharing what you want to do and what are your ideas. We have in our lab we always try to share the projects that we have, not only within our lab, but with people from outside the lab, to get feedback and to improve the ideas that we want to do in a project. And I think that is one of the most important things, because sometimes we write a project, but we are in our bubble, and getting the feedback and getting ideas from other people, it's crucial to improve the project and to take it to the next level. That, I would say, is one of the most important factors, and we use it a lot. We when we have a deadline for a project, for example, in March, we start writing the project like 3-4 months in advance, and we try to have a first draft of the project like 2 months before the deadline, and then we share it with quite a lot of people. That, of course,
Yes, but some researchers think that it is risky.
It is. It is
open, yeah.
Yes, but in our experience, you get more than what you lose.
And the second factor. And
the second factor is again the collaborations with other research groups, to try to do everything in a project by yourself, but to try to involve other people from other labs, from other universities, even from other countries, to attract the expertise that you don't have in your lab to improve your project.
Mhm.
So what we do is that we ask for feedback from other people, and if we think that not only the feedback but what this person knows it's important for our project, we try to invite this person to participate in the project.
Mhm.
Just having their experience, their expertise, it's important for us. And I can say that in our lab, I'm happy that we are in general quite successful with getting projects. One of the last projects we got, it's a project from the Belgian government. We got 4 million euros for a 4 years project. And the PI of this researcher, he started a big collaboration with people from all Belgium and even from with people from other countries and yeah.
So sharing, having feedback and collaboration.
Yeah. I know that some people is afraid of sharing this their ideas because they say, oh, they are going to steal it. But in our case, I have the impression that we win more than what we lose by sharing.
Very important. Mhm.
And yeah, of course, you have to trust the other person, right? You're not going to send it to somebody that you don't know at all. But
Yes. You must be in minimal protection of yourself.
yes, of course. It's
Yeah.
But anyway, here in Belgium, when you send your project to you submit your project to to the government, they will send your project abroad to 3 or 4 people to evaluate your project. So anyway, your project will be known by other people and we will read it by other people. So if you do it in advance,
you are right. Thank you.
Yes, so you said it's worth sharing ideas before you start doing. So that's why I would like to ask you about a little bit about creativity, because it said that creativity is quite important or essential in science, generally speaking. So what do you think about creative teams? What feature you can find which can be distinguishing creative teams?
A creative team, yeah, I would say that a creative team is a team that is able to develop new ways to answer questions, that is not focused only on the techniques or the methods that we currently have to answer questions, but that it develops new ideas or new ways to answer those questions. For example, we have had a few times some studies that we tried new ideas. We wanted to test what was the effect of stress on one specific cognitive cognitive task, but we were not sure if the task that we were using was correct, because we could only know it afterwards, after the study. We decided to do the study anyway, and at the end it didn't work out because it was a disaster. We couldn't even get any clear results from this study, but we learned a lot and we could improve this method. And now we could in the last years we could develop a nice new method to assess attention bias in participants by creating a new technique. And that was thanks to the fact that a few years ago we were not afraid of failing in creating this new method. So I think that the most important feature or characteristic of a creative team is trying to develop new ways to solve your questions, your research questions. Yeah.
Let me continue these thoughts, because the creativity is one factor. Of course, I think that very, very important in research teams, but not always this creativity leads to effectiveness. So what are other factors which you can which contribute to effectiveness of the team of the researchers?
Without other factors, but I think that first we should define what effectiveness is for.
Yes, sure.
For us,
there
right?
Are few the different dimensions. One of these is maybe it's creativity. I know,
yeah.
But what other factors you see personally, you according to your experience?
So for me, a good indicator of team effectiveness is the ability of the team to do research that help the field to answer the research question that we have in this moment. So,
yes, may I interrupt you a little bit, because when I was observing your profile as a researcher, you are cited a lot, thousands citations you have, and good researcher also, and team and research team. And I noticed that you avoid this, publications, indexes, and this, and you do not think that. Don't you think that these are also the indicators of the effectiveness of the team? I know it's difficult.
Yeah, I think that it's a tricky question, because one thing is how I think that there is a change now in the mentality of researchers. That a few years ago, or until a few years ago, the number of publications was indicator of effectiveness. But I don't agree with that, and I think I'm not the only one. There is a lot of people who think
we too, yes.
that publication is not just an indicator of effectiveness. The number of publication is just the result of being a good researcher, but it's not the only factor that determines or that indicates how effective or how good researcher you are. For me, it's more important to focus on the high quality of what you are doing. Mm-hmm. If you are doing a high quality research, at the end it's going to be published, but it could be in a good journal or in a worse journal, but that doesn't depend only on you. The mm-hmm. publication depends on several other factors, like being lucky because you have nice reviewers.
Yeah.
Being lucky because the editor is in a good mood when he's reading your publication.
Yes.
But that's something that it's out of your control. You mm-hmm. somehow, not everything, right? But what you have to do, or in my opinion, what's more important, or what is in your hand, is the process before the publication, before sending your studies for your manuscript to a journal. So I think that, for example, if what you do in your research affects how other people does research, other teams, they try to follow the kind of research that you are doing, that is a good indicator of effectiveness or good indicator of good research.
Oh, yes. You're right.
We have, for example, in my case, I have different kind of studies. I have some studies that were not cited at all, and some other studies that in only 3 years, they got more than 100 citations. I would say, or I think that it's because these kind of studies that are more cited, they have more influence in the field, they have more influence in other people, in other researchers, and I would say that that's more important than the number of publications per se. Yeah. So, but still, the citations from other people would also depend on the type of results that you are showing. So it's a tricky point, because I don't think that we can just focus on numbers. We should focus more on the qualitative part, and to try to focus on how good the research is. And yeah, in this sense, trying to make high quality research is the key factor. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this opinion, because we share it with you.
Yeah, I'm happy to know that, because it's and now I see that in the scientific community, it's like these two teams, right? So one will focus only on number of publications, and the other one that's I think we are more. We would like to move the research towards quality and not only quantity. In fact, in our university, they are moving towards this direction. They want us to focus more on quality, not on quantity. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to go back to the competences, which are also connected, or this is the background of our work. What do you think when you look at your teams in which you are working now? What competences will be developed or increased in the teams to increase the effectiveness of work?
Yeah, I think that one of the problems we have in our team is that the number of projects that we already have at this moment is too high, that sometimes we cannot handle all of them. That we cannot give to each project. No, Pepa. Sorry. You have to sleep there. Sorry. One of the sorry, I'm gonna start again. Sorry. One of the problems that we are having at this moment is that we have so many projects that sometimes it's difficult to give the right amount of time to all of them. Sometimes we try to do more than what we should, I think. And I cannot say what kind of competence is this, but I would say that it's that sometimes we need to focus more on less projects, to have more time to each of them, and to try to take each project to the next level, and to try to reduce the amount of
and
projects.
Maybe I will follow this with questions which is not following this one, but maybe it is not individual competence. Maybe it's university competence. How do you think?
That's a good point. Yeah, because you always have the pressure of doing more, and it's not always possible. You always try to get every chance you have to start a new project.
Yeah.
But then you don't have
because
time
university thinks that because generally the number of grants of projects and finances is good for the university. Yeah. But in a longer run, it can be a failure because some people cannot take this burden of so many tasks and projects.
Yeah, at the end you have only 24 hours per day, so you don't have time to work on all your projects as much as you want. And sometimes you need more time to really develop one project. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have the time to do it, then I
think that this is a problem of all universities, or maybe in some the biggest one, this problem is somehow solved better. Or people are much stronger, like zombies.
Yeah, but anyway, even if you are a zombie and you are your life it's only doing research, mm-hmm. you cannot have time. You don't have time to do everything, and I would prefer to have less projects, but with again more time and more quality on each project. Yeah. Sometimes I think that's
very very important remark, but sometimes you can dream about it.
I think that we go back again to the same point. It's not quantity, it's quality, and to do high quality research, you cannot have 20 projects or 15
but
projects.
Matias, don't you think, I'm coming back to our first questions about some features, characteristics of the researcher. I think that to do to have research, to do research, according to your opinion, it requires some courage from the administrator.
Of course. Yeah. That's true. You need
courage, assertiveness, this kind of character that I know that the young researchers say, no, I say no, I don't do it, or I don't take the next project because it's too much.
That's something that sometimes we lack. That we need to say no. That's more than what I can handle, and I would prefer not to continue with this because I prefer to
have good quality.
To focus more on what I have, and but of course it's always the same, because in research you start working in a project now, and the results and the outputs and the reward, let's call it this way, will come years later. So you know that you have to start moving the ball now, because you're going to get the results in a few years. Mm-hmm. And it's you're running a project now in which you are very motivated, because you know that it's something that you know it's an important project, but you also think, okay, I have to start now moving the ball for the next one, because otherwise once this finished, I don't have anything else
to do. And I will be useless. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Olaf, maybe you ask.
I would like to continue this topic because of course I also agree that it's better to do less but better than more not so good. But when you try to form a team for the research project, do you look for people also outside the university? I mean, the specialists from companies or from other, not maybe universities, but institutions, which could help you? this is like that?
Yes, in our team, our research is quite health oriented. So we always try to go to medical doctors or psychologists working in clinical psychology to know their opinion. We try to understand what is their opinion about the topic, because that's crucial for us to try to develop new ideas and to try to develop new research. We think that you always need your one of your hands in the real world, otherwise you lose the connection with what you are doing. It's not connected with the real world, and you might lose the real the final aim of your research. So we always try to get the opinion from them. And sometimes what we do, not myself, because I don't do this kind of research, but some colleagues from our research team, they try to develop new treatments for patients with depression. So what they do is they invite patients with depression who currently have depression or who had depression in the past to have their opinion about the treatment that they are developing, and they receive really good feedback. You might think, okay, they know nothing about the neurocognitive mechanism of depression, but they know what they feel, they know what they experience, and their opinion in this, it's very, very important.
And now maybe something positive, more positive. So what is your experience as far as the methods of strengthening the level of the research by your university? Do you have some examples? What do your university do to strengthen? What does your university do to strengthen the level of research conducted by individual researchers?
Well, in this sense, I think Ghent University is a good example, because in 2018, they decided to change the focus of the evaluation of the researchers. And now, for example, we don't focus too much on number of publications. Again, we focus on quality of the research. So, for example, PhD students before 2020, they were obliged to publish at least one publication before they could finish their PhD. Now they don't need to publish any. They don't need any paper to submit their PhD for evaluation.
Oh.
That's one thing, but of course it's not okay. You can do anything you want. We will not focus on publications. What the university decided is to focus on open science. When I say open science, I don't mean only published in open journals like Frontiers or journals in which you have to pay a lot to publish, but the process before publication. We are encouraged to pre-register our studies, for example, before we start one new experiment or one new study. We had to write what are our clear hypothesis, objective, and to say, for example, we are going to do this, we are going to run this kind of statistical analysis, we are going to use this kind of indexes, And at the end, we are going to test this hypothesis doing this, specifically this. And we have to publish this in the, for example, the Open Science Framework, or there are other platforms like clinicaltrials.gov, or there is one platform from the European Union. So what our university does is they ask us to focus more on open science in this part of the process of open science, and less on publications, number of publications. And I think it's a good move from our university, because that reduces the stress of the people, and I think increase
concentrate on good work. Yeah,
good work.
Not
Exactly. Yeah, that's I think that's one very important move done by our university, to focus more on the process of open science. For example, all the PhD students, they have to put all their data analytic plan and everything in a shared, in which anyone can access and can check what they have done, to check the quality of their work. So I think it's that's our university is now focusing more on the process, not only on the output
result.
Yeah.
My last question is: what conditions, according to you, can create an innovative university?
What conditions are needed for an innovative?
Yes, for creative, innovative. You can use whatever positive word you like. Okay, to describe good university that Matias loves.
Well, I have to say that I'm very happy with Ghent University in this sense, because first of all, they decided a few years ago to improve the health of their workers. I know it's not only focused on research, but in general, they decided to focus a lot on the health of their workers. They decided to improve the well-being of their researchers, teachers, and administrative personnel. And they started with this. And based on this, they decided to move the way they evaluate our research, as I said before, toward the quality and not the quantity. So they decided to say, okay, everybody in this university is important. We know we cannot evaluate with the same competences in everyone, because we are different people. So what can you as a person bring to our university? What are your competences, and what do you think you can bring to our university? And we are going to evaluate you based on your ability to improve yourself and to grow in our institution. And this is affecting a lot the way we are working, because I think people, it's feeling less pressure to do meaningless things, and to focus more on what is important for our work. But at the end, to do a good research, or to do a good class for our students, and to improve the quality of our work. So I think that this go hand by hand. That if you want to improve or to be a more innovative university, you need to have you need to focus on that in your people. You have to really evaluate this in your people, to try to be innovative, but at the same time to support them, that we are going to evaluate the process and not only the result.
Yes. Thank you very much, Matias, for your interesting answers to our questions, and your very interesting and inspiring tips regarding the competence management in a modern and innovative university. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me, and I hope my answers were clear enough and that could help a bit on this nice project that you have in your hand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.